Hi everybody. Is it recording? Yes. Sorry about that. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today's topic is a serious one. A lot of them are, but hopefully it's helpful. The topic is suicide. So I thought a bit before making this video what I would talk about, and I guess I just want to give the disclaimer that, I don't know, in cases where old people or something are experiencing incredible pain, or they've lost their minds, and their family decides to quote-unquote pull the plug or whatever, or they're in terrible, unavoidable pain that, drugs can't knock out. I don't know how I feel about that. A lot of it is a religious thing, or how you feel about. I just don't know. I don't like to see people in intense suffering of any kind, but I guess what I'm talking about is the physical suffering. So I just don't know, and there's quality of life issues, etc. I'm going to remain neutral on that, but I'm leaving open the possibility that if my grandmother or something like that was suffering terribly every minute in agonizing pain, and there was no way to remedy it, do you think it's a good thing to end their life? Maybe. Legally, of course. So, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is suicide because of despair and because of depression. So I was suicidal as a child. About 13, there was abuse going on in my house. So that was the strongest point, and I'm glad I didn't kill myself. So at the time, it seemed logical to me and all that stuff. But I guess what I want to say to people who are thinking about it is that, number one, is it passes. It's not as intense as it might be at one moment. It does pass. That's number one. Number two is probably a lot of suicidal thoughts in people have to do with traumas that they've experienced, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, intense bullying, things like that, like actions of other people that you did not deserve at all. Especially, the sexual abuse stuff, because there can be so much guilt and terrible shame involved in that you sort of blame yourself. And there's a siren going by. So I guess what I wanted to say was that if you kill yourself, it's like they win. You didn't deserve for that to happen, and they didn't have a right to do it, and you're beautiful, and you can love yourself, and I love you, yes, like you kind of let them win. I'm not going to do that. So number one, it passes, and number two is you let them win if you were to do that. Number three, of course, is that so many people are left behind. You don't know whose lives you're going to touch in your life if you live in a positive way. So we're all going to die sooner or later, I guess. So yeah, I think the world becomes a little bit of a darker place when someone kills themselves. Oftentimes people that kill themselves are sensitive people and people that feel a lot, and they are needed in the world. We have enough sociopaths and psychopaths and people who, narcissists, et cetera, people who are sensitive. We need more of those people. We don't need more predators. So when a sensitive person kills him or herself, the world becomes a little bit more of a darker place. We need you. And when I was in a dark place, when people are in really dark places and they're having a lot of suicidal thoughts and stuff, they don't see that they are loved, or that people do care about them, or how it would influence other people's lives, their family, their friends, all kinds of people. So I guess the world needs you, and people around you need you. And I guess fourth would be, I remember when I was suicidal or just so depressed in college, and I told a professor that at UCLA, and he said, well, he didn't want to hear it. He just said, well, you can devote yourself to serving other people. that was a new thing. You know, it's like, oh, that's true. I can stop being inwardly looking, and I can try to serve other people. Now, I haven't devoted my life to serving other people, but I do try to help other people, and people that I've helped told me that I make a difference in their lives. You know, not only through, you know, teaching acting or being a part of this channel, but in terms of friends or being there for them, you know, if they need to talk, and saying hello to someone when I walk down the street, you know, stuff like that, letting people cut in line in front of me, stuff like that. So you never know how you're going to have you can have a very positive impact on the world if you make a decision just to serve people, and maybe feel like, you know, it's not so much about you, it's about how much you can add into life and help the other lonely souls that are out there. So I'm losing track of my numbered points, but I guess just viscerally, it's so sad to think about one killing oneself, you know, and it passes, and you know, and if you're thinking about it because of some trauma you've experienced, and you hate yourself for it when you didn't deserve it, you know, I don't like to feel angry, I really don't, but when I think about the trauma that was inflicted on me, I would rather feel angry at the perpetrators than I would to turn it in on myself and hurt myself or something, you know, because I didn't ask for that, you know. So I'm not suggesting you be an angry person, but if you're at the depths of the despair where you're thinking about actually, you know, hurting yourself, and you know, maybe you need to be angry at that person and let yourself feel that way, and go for professional help, and yeah, and try to help other people. You know, maybe you can volunteer at a soup kitchen, Meals on Wheels, reading stories to burn victims, stuff like that may help you, and also just have faith that things are going to get better. I think that's a key, is faith, and that's what are in a lot of religions. I'm not a religious person, but that aspect of faith is key, because the negative thoughts fade. So I think the idea of suicide is one of the saddest, most terrible expressions of despair, and it's, in almost all cases, it's an expression of despair of the moment, and that moment passes, and you can get help from therapists, psychiatrists, friends, online groups. Just hang in there is what I'm saying, and it will pass. And think about your innate value, and you didn't ask for any of that to happen to you, if stuff did. So heavy stuff, but you know, I'm glad I didn't kill myself, and it would have been horrible, and I would have affected my mother and father for the rest of their lives, and everyone else. So it just would have been horrid. So plus I have good things in life, so, and even if you feel like you don't now, you will. So okay, well, if you're feeling that way, I love you, and hang in there, and go online and try to see how you can get some help, and if nothing else, just put it off until you get help. Okay, thanks. You can subscribe and like, and leave a comment if you want. Thanks a lot.